a resin. Ask for the AM 950 special today. Sale ends Labor Day.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting live on AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota, in the evenings on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. And of course, in Seattle, there, 1150 AM, KKNW. It is the Matt McNeil Show, catching my breath. I hope you're having a good day out there. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Ah, yes, it is broadcast radio. I want to point out something. Patrick, you occasionally do dither and dather over there on the Blue Sky?
I do, yes.
All right. We, of course, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Twitter is an absolute cesspool of hate, and they want all the Democrats dead. And not only that, but then there's all the racist bigots and anti-Semites. And so it's a hard no for me. I don't go over there anymore. I have the old account there, but mainly that's just to keep open to tell everyone where else I am. My primary now is on Blue Sky. And for all you Democrats who are still on Twitter, what are you doing? No, seriously, what are you doing? I had like 4,000 followers on Twitter. I've got, near 18,000 followers now on Blue Sky. It is a better place. You're talking to your base, and you don't have to deal with everything, blah, 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 blah. Here's one thing that I've noticed, in the last week, because let me just get into the mindset of the Republican MAGA social media troll. Myself, there is you could not pay me to open up a Truth Social account. Nope. There is no way on the planet you could pay me to open up an account on that. No, why? My life is too short as it is at this point. Why would I waste time someplace in a cesspool like that? And I sure as heck don't go post on Twitter. But for some reason, right-wing groups and right-wing individuals have started trying to open up Blue Sky accounts to, hey, there you are. Hey, we were having a great conversation before when I started talking about all the minorities and everything. Hey, let's talk some more. Dude, I do not need your validity, and I sure as hell am not going to validate you. And like I said, you're coming to my page. That's the one thing that's always like, why did you start this? I don't know. Why did you come to my page? I posted something there and you're commenting on it. That's you coming to my page. I don't pay anyone to do it. The id of the MAGA troll is so funny because they so desperately want to look like they're intelligent and try to own the libs. And like myself, I think a lot of people have left Twitter. A lot of people have. I mean, I think it's only like, guys that buy date rape drugs are basically the only thing over there now. So you can go over and enjoy that if you'd like, but I'm not going to be there. And so they desperately now, but we were having such a good conversation. No, I wasn't. Hearing you scream about the N-word and calling people the R word and how every person who's not lily white like you and your family are all terrorists, drug dealers, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't need that. So at what point you think I'm on the incredibly pleasant Blue Sky, which is Blue Sky is amazing. I love Blue Sky. It is so much nicer there. Like-minded people, positivity. I love it there. Block. I mean, I don't have time for you. With all due respect, on any given day, on a planet of 8 billion people, you rank somewhere in the area of 4 to 5 billion as far as my priority. I'm not going to interact with you. I'm sorry your life is so empty that you randomly go around to strangers and try to get them to interact with you, but good luck with that. Speaking of MAGA trolls, that whole administration is full of people who are just spectacular. The more she talks, though, the more I realize how bad the Ag Secretary, Brooke Rollins, is. She is horrible. And we talked about the fact that, she was at the Iowa State Fair and basically trying to avoid and talking about anything that was negative, even though the farmers were kind of miffed down there. And yeah, farming is definitely in a much worse condition. But there are blatant lies and there are brazen lies. And this is such a brazen lie. I'm going to play this. Rupar put this out. Rupes with the scoops. This is from Fox Business. Brooke Rollins. She's talking about Minnesota. All right. She's talking about Minnesota and how evil and horrible and wrong it is. Patrick, when you can.
Remember as a kid, we spent our summers in Minnesota on our row crop farm up there, and we would fly into St. Paul, drive an hour north through the most beautiful country you've ever seen in the whole America. And back then it was cornfield after cornfield after et cetera, soy. Now you drive that same drive and it's all solar panels. What has happened, especially under the Biden administration and the Green New Deal, is they're using taxpayer dollars to basically incentivize farmers to take farmland out of production. And there's a lot of reasons that they're choosing to do that. But we can't do that anymore. We should not be taking beautiful farmland out of production and putting solar panels, which we know is not the answer to our energy needs. So, yeah.
Okay. So, two things I want. One thing really quick, if I can. If you flew into St. Paul, you are taking a private jet because that's the airport in St. Paul. That's for the wealthy businesses that are over in St. Paul, the St. Paul company. You have over there, Securians over there, stuff like that. That's who the state capitals over there. Private planes are what fly into there. So I'm sorry, Miss Moneybags. The commoners, we go to MSP International. That's over by Minneapolis. But you're flying into St. Paul. Okay, sure thing there, Cessna. Now, this story, she drove an hour north, and all now you see is solar panels, which, if you did, okay, great, we're being energy independent, but that's a lie. That is such a brazenly stupid lie. Are there a few solar panels? Yeah. Like maybe 20 or so. If I'm driving north out of Minneapolis, St. Paul, or St. Paul, where the rich kids go park their plane, I'm going 35E to Interstate 35, and that goes up to Duluth. Not there. 169, US 169, which goes kind of up north, a little west of that, towards Lake Mille Lacs, is not there. I could be going 94 up towards St. Cloud. It's not there. Where the hell are you even talking about there, Brooke? It's all solar panels? Like it's some sort of futuristic movie site? Where? It is such a stupid lie. It is such and what is so let me get this right. You're so desperate to make solar power bad that you're now basically saying they're taking all the cropland. Even though the people that, if your fantasy world, which is not true, was true, it's the farmer saying, hey, I can make more money putting solar panels up than I can with the current price of crops. Because funny story, I think corn is really cheap right now per bushel. And the soybeans, they're at least $4 less than they were under Biden because, Brooke Rollins is an idiot. Who knew? Well, actually, I think we all did. I mean, and she's a blatant liar. Seriously, this is just such a made up. I don't think she's even been here. I don't think Brooke Rollins has ever been to Minnesota. That it's all solar panels for an hour north of the metro. Where are you? Are you sure you're not in Wisconsin? Well, that's not Wisconsin either. I've been over there. Good beer and cheese curds. But no. The Dakotas? Well, I mean, if you go out towards there, it's all wind power. I mean, they got the windmills out there, and they like them. So before you badmouth, you notice they went after solar power, not wind power, because in a lot of the rural parts of this country, the farmers actually really like the wind power. It gets them some money, and it gives them a local supply of renewable energy. They like that. It's just, I mean, I just wanted to make sure that is just such a blatant lie. Let me make this first segment all kind of Minnesota related. Now, once again, that was Minnesota related, but that's more about calling Brooke Rollins a liar because she's just making something up. This one is a little bit closer to home because Minneapolis is the home base of Target, the Target Corporation. They beat Wall Street's earnings and sales expectations and reaffirmed its outlook on Wednesday, but even the company's sales and traffic across stores and website have declined. Minneapolis-based retailer pointed towards the future and its focus on getting back on growth in naming its next CEO, Chief Operating Officer Michael Fidelki, who has served as Target CFO, will step into the role on February 1st. He will succeed CEO Brian Cornell, 66, who nearly drove that company into the ground, to become the executive chair of Target's board of directors. Fidelki is a 20-year Target veteran. Company's shares were down 8% at midday following the results. I made this point this morning, and I'm going to stand by this point. Target has had a bad run. But Target has had a bad run because they decided to, well, put a bullseye on themselves. When hyperventilating, self-serving howler monkeys entered into Target stores and started screaming at the top of their lungs, these far-right attention whores, you guys should have grabbed them by the nape of the neck for coming into your private business and screaming and chucked them out on the front porch and said, you're banned from all Target stores from here on out. Then you should have come on out and said, we are committed to all of our customers, especially the LGBTQIA plus community. You didn't. Instead, the howler monkeys, you guys bowed down to about 20 TikTok accounts who decided that screaming at a Target store, your transgender swimsuit is violating my rights. I'm sorry, I would have hired UFC fighters to say, get them out any way you can. You guys are like, oh my gosh, a TikTok follower with 100,000 followers? Oh my gosh. I mean, and I want to point out here too, this was cancel culture, but as the Republicans like to scream about everyone else doing cancel culture, they're the masters of cancel culture, and you idiots fell for it. I do not think Target Corporation right now, would be having any, nearly the financial problems they did if they would have had a spine when the howler monkeys entered their store. This is all on you guys at this point. It's the Matt McNeil Show.
Hi, this is Laura with Food Freedom Radio, and I invite you to discover 2 local grocery stores with a global fare. Market Fresh, south of Rosedale, carries fresh vegetables, quality meats, seafood, and a wide variety of grocery staples, all in a welcoming store. Shanghai Wholesale Market is in the St. Paul Midway area, and it's a food warehouse open to the public. Shanghai Wholesale carries more than 500 types of noodles. And frankly, it's time for Minnesotans to learn that pasta is a little bit more than spaghetti noodles and tuna casserole. There's sweet potato, bean, rice, fresh, frozen, rye. It's a paradise for those seeking gluten-free pasta. Also, both Market Fresh and Shanghai Wholesale Market seek to buy local, so you can look for local quail eggs, unique cheeses, and Minnesota-made tofu. Open the door to food abundance. Discover Market Fresh, your local Asian food store just south of Rosedale, and Shanghai Wholesale Market, your local international food warehouse north of Menards in the St. Paul Midway area.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
Your time is precious. Why are you still mowing your own lawn? I'm Alex Knorr, a young, hard-working entrepreneur serving the Southwest Metro with affordable lawn care. At Buzzcut Mowing, I offer weekly mowing, leaf cleanups, aeration, dethatching, tree trimming, and mulch installation. I work hard so you can relax and enjoy time with family and friends. Call today and I'll handle the rest. Visit buzzcutmowingmn.com. That's buzzcutmowingmn.com.
Hey, Francois, why are you sitting on the sidewalk on Snelling Avenue?
Salut Laura, j'attends.
What are you waiting for?
Le State Fair.
But the state fair doesn't start until August 21st.
Ouais, mais j'ai hâte de manger les macarons de Nicolette.
Oh, you can't wait for Nicholas macaroons. What flavors do they have this year?
Cotton candy, root beer float, sweet corn, and mini donuts.
Oh, and Nicholas Vintage Truck will be at the West End Market, right?
Oui,
Oh, well, I'll be right back when it opens. Hold the spot in line.
vivement le State Fair.
Minnesota State Fair.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our local leaders. How do you reward your employees? How do you appreciate your business partners? Thousands of local organizations just like yours count on Minuteman Uptown for promotional products. We craft custom awards and plaques. We print your logo on apparel, office supplies, and thousands of other items. Minuteman Uptown helps you reward employees and stay top of mind with customers and vendors. We print everything. Contact us today at mpuptown.com.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. Nice to have you here today. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. I do like to talk about the economy because there's a lot wrong with the economy right now. I mean, I would like to say that there's warning signs. They're not warning signs. This is like there's hurricane warning signs up. And Trump is there saying everybody is the best swimming ever as people are starting to get pulled out by riptides. So little thing about investing. One of the things out there you'll hear it mentioned is bonds. People buy bonds. That is basically you're investing in a company, a country, something like that. You can kind of there's a variety of different bonds that are available, but U.S. bonds, British bonds, German bonds, they're Japanese have bonds. Most countries have them, and you can invest in a country. It's a relatively safe place to invest, especially if there's an economic downturn. Especially if there's a major economic downturn, you basically will see people flee the markets and put their money into the bond markets. It is relatively safe. There very rarely has there been a problem, but it's a sign. If you're putting money into the bond market, it's a sign you're under the belief, well, the economy is not doing that well. Trump has been on a multi-million-dollar bond buying spree since taking office in January, investing in debt issued by local authorities, gas districts, and major American corporations. Across 33 pages of filings with the U.S. Government Office of Ethics, or OGE, dated August 12th, the president outlined 690 transactions that have taken place since he took office. The documents were made public on Tuesday. According to the CNBC calculations, the purchases had a total value of at least $100 million in bonds, assuming the lower value and listed for each disclosed transaction. Presidents, vice presidents, other elected officials must periodically declare reportable transactions to the OGE. The precise value of these dealings does not have to be reported. The extensive list filed earlier this month show that over the course of the year, Trump has bought bonds sold by various entities, including the local U.S. governments, as well as gas districts, water supply. You buy bonds. Now, are bonds part of a diversified portfolio? Yes, they are. If you have actually a fairly large retirement, you do have some bonds. But this is something that's been going on behind the scenes. And this isn't a little bit in bonds. This is a lot in bonds. So the man who is driving our economy is buying the investment that pays off when the economy tanks. Yeah. But that's this is not about, one of those things where we're talking about, possibly something in the realm of fantasy. We actually, once again, have some really bad signs out there. And there is a Wallet Hub has put out a new poll here about The worst states. This is a survey. Economic amid the backdrop of economic uncertainty, many Americans are struggling to pay the bills. They've turned to credit to pay for essentials, which is terrifying. I remember the first time I saw you could use a credit card at a drive-thru. I know I'm old. I know. I remember that. I remember when you could go out there and use a credit card to go to a drive-thru. And I said, why would you do that? You're paying interest on a Big Mac. It didn't seem to make any sense. And nowadays, I've talked to you about that when I was out in California last year, when I was out in Death Valley, Republican territory. I didn't mean to make sound funny, but it was kind of funny. But I was out there, I went to that grocery store, and they were like, you can put your groceries on layaway. Layaway for groceries? It's scary. And now it's really rearing its head. Some states are struggling more than others. Florida is now one of the most financially stressed states in the country, second only to Texas. Once again, Wallet Hub put the sign defines financial distress by having credit and forbearance or deferred payments due to financial difficulty. When you combine data about people delaying payments and other metrics like bankruptcy filings and credit score changes, it paints a good picture of the overall economic trends in the state, Wallet Hub said. There are 5 states. Here are the 5 states that are struggling the most. Texas, of course, is the most financially distressed state in the country, followed by Florida, Louisiana, Nevada, and South Carolina. Considering the gambling problems some people have in Nevada, that doesn't surprise me. The states that are best off, the honor goes to Hawaii, Vermont, Alaska, Oregon, and New Mexico. To determine their ranking, Wallet Hub compared all 50 states across 9 key metrics in 6 categories, calculating an overall score by weighing the average score across all metrics. For example, the credit score category is determined by 2 key metrics, the average credit score as of March and the earned double weight, and the change in credit score from March 2024 to 2025 earned a full weight. So basically it's saying that it's evaluating not only the current situation, but where it was to today, and this is not a good sign. Once all the numbers were crunched, Texas came out as the worst. Number 1 means the most distressed or worse off. Even though the state has a larger GDP than most countries, ranking 9th on the world stage, it still has one of the top 10 economies, and it still has one of the top 10 economies in the U.S., but it's still massively financially strained. And my theory is this, is you hear these idiots talk about, come to Texas, you're going to have so much more money because we don't have state taxes. And I think what's happening is twofold. One, that's not telling the truth. What the truth would be is we're not going to collect your state taxes, but basic services that you would have provided for you in, say, Illinois or Washington or Minnesota, we're not going to cover and are going to cost you a tremendous amount more. But as well, I think this old narrative of you're going to have so much money leads people to think, well, I've got much more money than I really got, and they start spending far more than they have. And I think that boom, that's why you get Texas and Florida as the 2 top states on this. Now, I will say this. There's the searches that they have on debts and loans. That's kind of I don't know if that's a fair metric. So in one category they have is amount of web searches they have in each state for debt, the amount of web searches they have in each state for loans. I'm not so convinced that that's I think the other stats you're listing, like, the changing credit score from year to year, or the amount of people that are having deferred payment plans because they can't pay off their credit cards. Those are much more viable metrics, I think, to be able to dictate this than something just web searches. That being said, in case you're wondering, the state of Minnesota is at 28, so better than halfway, but still needs some work to do. Washington is at 36. Illinois is at 37. So those are the states that, where our states are at. It doesn't mean that there's, like I said, there's not stress, there's not concern in these states. It just is, it's not nearly as bad as you're getting in some of these states. And in Texas and Florida and Louisiana, when you're basically running out of credit card debt just to pay for basic groceries, that's a big freaking problem. Jeff Stein when we come back. It's the Matt McNeil Show.
I've got to run away. I've got to.
Cafe Latte offers made-from-scratch soups, salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts. So come check out their pizza and wine bar, or get a treat from the bakery made fresh daily. Plus, you can still do online ordering and takeout, along with gift cards. Just go to cafelatte.com and choose from their ever-changing selection of award-winning salads, sandwiches, and soups. Cafe Latte is located off Victoria and Grand and online at cafelatte.com.
Hey, Minnesota, it's your favorite sexy liberal. Join me and my fellow cohorts in liberal justice weekdays from 8 to 11 on AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Did you know that August is Pet Appreciation Month? Zero Res doesn't use harsh soaps or chemicals, so it's safe for all your furry friends. If you have a pet like I do, you know they like to leave little bits of themselves around the house, whether that's fur or dander or worse, and you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to help get your house back in shape. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. So if it's been months since your last deep clean, it's time to give the pros at Zero Res a call. And if you need to freshen up your home for the fall, Zero Res is dropping a Labor Day sale just in time for the start of the school year. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119, plus a free hallway and $75 off an air gut cleaning. Sale ends Labor Day. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
The Brave New Workshop is a Minneapolis tradition and the nation's longest-running comedy theater, finding ways to make people laugh about things that should make them cry for over 65 years. And who doesn't need a good laugh right now? Seriously, who doesn't need a laugh? Come see their fall show, Hippocalypse Now, a hilarious look at a world where what people say and what people do are completely unrelated. Playing now through November 1st at the Dudley Riggs Theater in Minneapolis. Tickets available at hennepinarts.org. That's hennepinarts.org. You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. You know, over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Sunshine today with a high of 82, then tonight clear with a low of 65. Spend your summer with some of the hottest musical acts around at Crooner's Supper Club in Fridley. Crooner's is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65 and Moore Lake Drive. Visit croonersmn.com to view their schedules and food menus.
Jeff. J-E-F-F, Jeff. J-E-F-F, Jeff. J-E-F-F, Jeff.
Jeff Stein's our national and presidential expert, noted author. You can find his books at your favorite book retailer, the Iowa Politics Report, the Iowa Business Report, come to us from his mothership, KXEL in Cedar Falls, Waterloo, where he's joining us today. And we already have someone commenting, nice tie, Jeff. As a matter of fact, yeah, that's nice. I always wonder what they did with the old carpeting at the Ramada Inn. Sorry.
This was the drapery. This was the drapery in the ballroom. Thank you very much. I mean,
sorry.
I realize, you usually when you were there, you didn't know the difference between, the carpet and the draperies, but
those were some parties, man. You did need to do some stretching before that started.
The mere fact that you dropped Ramada Inn. Did you not think of?
Well, I couldn't go Hojo's.
I was going to say
Hojo's was orange and blue, man.
Did you not think of Hojo soon enough? Okay, fine, that's great.
So you've wrapped up the Iowa State Fair, and now they have turned. Tomorrow we turn to the Minnesota State Fair up here.
Mm-hmm.
The thing we just don't get the farm people. Well, obviously the political ramifications of your state, as well as also the much more ag centric. To give you an idea, our John Deere dealer up here,
mm-hmm.
They have the big John Deere setup they have out there because it's a state fair. It's almost all, it's like a lot of tractors. It's like, utility vehicles. It's not like when you go to the Iowa State Fair where you get the big tractors, which are kind of fun to get into. I will not deny getting up into a big cab of a tractor is fun. But yeah, it's a very different thing. As a matter of fact, the llama costume contest, I think that's up first.
The llama costume. Could you not afford llamas? The real things?
No, they are llamas.
Oh, they're in
costume. Come on, man. What do you think?
I've seen you in a sheep costume. I didn't know whether,
sheep costume. What are you talking about?
The Ramada Inn.
Well, of course.
I'm trying to work the theme.
It's more of a toga thing, but still, when it's never mind. That's you have that, and in case you get cold later on.
We should. How well do you know your way around a cow? It's a setup, but go ahead.
It's if I got the stories I could tell. No, I know that where the front and the back is, so I think I pretty much figured out the make and model of the beast.
And you can tell the difference between the cow and the
bull. Yes. I've been to the zoo. Wow, that's amazing nature in action.
Because after the Minnesota State Fair is the National Cattle Congress Fair.
Okay.
And as you may recall, my radio station sponsors the Celebrity Cow Milking Contest.
When is it? What day?
That's Thursday, September the 18th.
Oh, I can't.
Oh, please.
Oh, no, I can't because a good friend of mine, Nancy Nelson, is going to be doing over at Chanhassen Dinner Theater here in town, doing a play. And on the 18th, I'm doing that. I can't. Trust me. Me going down there and grabbing onto some livestock sounds like a hoot. But unfortunately, I do already have a commitment that night.
What is nice for the folks watching this, and I don't know why you are, but if you're watching this, he even did the pretend to pick up pencil to start to make note and then look and then feigned.
I did right there. I started writing down. Can you move it?
No, the cows are booked for Thursday, September 18th, and I do play-by-play.
Oh God. Well,
and it's on Facebook Live, so you're going to want to link to it.
I promise I will come down next year and do it. I will promise. I will put it on the calendar. Once you get that set up, I will drive on down and I will go milk a cow. All right.
Well, you'll attempt to milk a cow.
Well, one of two things is going to happen. Either it's going to, like you and I imagine, it's going to go horribly wrong. And the cow's really going to be offended. HR is going to be giving me a call.
Yeah.
Or all of a sudden, I just somehow by pure luck managed to be like, oh, this is easy. I didn't think this was going to be that easy.
What really is the fun part? The people who, and these again are all quote celebrities. So it's like radio and TV people. It's not really celebrities, right?
Yeah.
So they come in just, oh, I know how to do this. I've watched 3 YouTube videos. And my favorite part is when they settle themselves down on the milk stool and hold the bucket underneath and reach for the cow, and the cow does a hip check and knocks them off the stool into a somersault, usually into a pile of waste. That is that's a day right there.
Well, can I hit the cow back? I mean, if it checks me like an NHL player, can I check it back? Okay.
It does hip check you like it's in a Wild versus Kraken game. How about that,
huh? Bravo.
With winter taking on the Hawks. I'm trying to take care of everything here. Just couldn't think of I was going to say the North Stars. But yes, the cow can do that, but you cannot retaliate or else you're in the penalty box, which in your case is HR.
Do you ever have like an athlete that comes on in and then just doesn't know their grip strength or something like that? And the cow's eyes kind of like, it's like, well, you got to be a little more gentle there. It's a living creature.
We did have a former SEC, all SEC player who became an athletic director, who came in and he was petting the cow very nicely and talking to the cow, and he wound up walking away with the win.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But then he came back the next year to defend the title, crashed and burned.
So if I sweet talk the beast, all right.
Mhm. If you
Hey,
sweet talk the beast, you get your way with the beast. But now, what's great is
hey,
the
I've been in
winner-
a Yugoslavian bar, so I mean, I know what I'm doing.
That's why you asked about can you slap it back. The winner gets the coveted
Yes.
KXEL Golden Cow Award. It's a
Can I?
20-inch trophy. I will bring the trophy. It's a 20-inch trophy.
Well, it's gonna be right behind me when I win this thing. Not this year, next year.
I'll
Well,
put it behind me next week. Be right, or whenever it shows up. We ordered it.
all right.
There's a cow on it. It even
Well, I
says
would
horse.
hope so. If it was like a peacock, be like, all right.
Well, I had to say that because we had a promotions person, and anybody who's listening who's ever been in radio knows where this story is going to go bad. I had a promotion person who bought a trophy, and it didn't have a cow on it. I mean, hello.
Come on. Is this your first day? Come on.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Well,
It was there. By the way, originally, and I think in the promotional materials, it's still called the KXAL Cow Milking Contest, and I was corrected in year number 2. It is not a cow. It is, or I think it says KXAL Celebrity Milking Contest, and I was corrected that it's a celebrity cow milking contest because it's a very different thing. You have to wait till after dark to do the celebrity milking contest. But during the daytime when the kiddies are there, it's a celebrity cow milking contest.
Wow, now we're turning blue here on the old show, aren't we? Well, then, but I would,
Isn't this a blue show?
Well, once again, Ramada in. Okay, so
well, I was going red versus blue, but okay, play along. I use my blue mug when I'm here, drinking the Kool-Aid from my blue mug.
Howard Johnson's. Anyway, sorry.
Wow. Goodbye, Seattle. Hello. Good night, Chicago.
Oh, I guess maybe we should. Hey, guess
You've
what?
been listening to
The grand jury ain't going to remove the hold on the Trump the Epstein grand jury testimony because basically there still is cases going on, and if they do so, that's kind of stupid.
There is nothing that has been done with this makes any sense unless this is where you'll go, which I don't blame you. The goal is to act like you're doing something when you know you can't possibly be doing something. You can't have.
You just said it. What other reason is there to try to do this?
You can't have Comer's committee start doing investigation, right? The oversight committee. We're going to bring people in on whatever the topic is. Doesn't matter. It might be Biden and his health. It might be Epstein, whatever. You can't have the Congressional Oversight Committee say we're going to have hearings. At the same time, then the Justice Department says we're opening an investigation because ain't nobody going to be talking now. And it's the illusion of doing something, knowing full well nothing can come of it because you've set it up so nothing can come of it. You've got Maxwell who's got her own appeals. And then you want to release the grand jury testimony. And oh, by the way, we have a pending case if we're the Justice Department against this woman, but we're going to sit down and see if she'll flip. Duh.
Well, I don't think she's going to be testifying against Epstein at this point. I mean, and there is still all this.
Well, it'd be easy to, wouldn't it? I mean, in all seriousness, it'd be like, I didn't have anything to do with it. It was all him. Well, because dead men tell no tales. However, nobody's going to believe that either.
Well, and the problem, okay, so I've thought a lot about Todd Blanche and the moving of Ghislaine Maxwell over to Texas and all this. And one of the problems that they have is even if she does come out and say, Trump never was there, Trump was all this stuff, if all of a sudden the grand jury testimony eventually does get released and it contradicts everything she said, we already know that Trump's name is mentioned in there. So, I mean, it's got to be mentioned in there at some point. So for her, it's almost an impossible situation. Like I said, I think there's a lot of people that are really kind of wondering if this whole thing with Maxwell is indeed going to lead to an eventual pardon for her just to get her to say nothing. And hopefully, you know, we do have that rule that Dick Cheney put into place where if you basically leave office, you can take something and jam it into your man-size safe and it doesn't get seen for the light of day for 75 years.
I thought you were going to say it was Dick Cheney and he's shooting people in the face. I thought that was where you were going with that.
I think some of those files did go into that his thing, by the way. Yes, indeed.
What, the things that Sandy Berger didn't stuff down his shorts?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see, there's a lot of. Here's the thing with Maxwell. This is what was interesting to me, and this is from a politics standpoint, but also as a lawyer. They sit down with her a couple of different times, and then you hear nothing about it. They move her to a different facility because snitches get stitches, and so they moved her to Texas like nobody there is going to know who she is. And but nothing said. It's like, okay, we talked to her and it was a great conversation. Nothing, just nothing. So does that mean she has nothing to offer? Does it mean, it seems like they were all hot to do that for 5 minutes and nothing.
Well,
I just don't get it.
There's no justification. I mean, you don't just move somebody to a better prison environment because you want them to have some new scenery. I mean, that does not happen. And so there has been zero explanation as to why she has been moved to this facility in the first place.
Right.
It does not help you. Did you see the story out of Vegas? An Israeli diplomat apparently was caught in one of those stings where the police were pretending to be an underage child. And this guy is a member of the cabinet of Israel, was caught, was arrested. And there seems to be some real question on how in the world this guy was released with his passport, who then basically jumped on an airplane and immediately flew back to Israel. Mm-hmm. And, Pam Bondi's acting upset. Apparently even a lot of MAGA is furious about this because, once again, this is supposed to be the president that's going to stop, child sex abusers. And now under his watch, whether his administration did something or not, this guy was able to flee the country after getting caught red-handed trying to solicit sex from a minor.
There is no greater unifying issue than messing around with children, right? I mean, if you're starting to talk about, what is it in prison that gets people, you could be, you could be a murderer, you could be a whatever, but if you're the guy who messed around with kids, you're the marked man. The worst of the worst think you're the worst of the worst. And diplomats have always had this special treatment, and it's very possible that a judge just did the normal, you're a diplomat, okay, you get out, please don't leave, whatever. Of course, everybody's going to be upset that it happened. But because again, it just shows that this is so deep. The preying upon young people, and it transcends so many different categories. And, you got to hold people responsible for that. I mean, frankly, Netanyahu ought to send him back.
Well, you'd think he would. And I'm not saying necessarily Trump did send him back. This could have been just mistakes in Nevada. But at the same time, a lot of people are saying, what the heck just happened here?
Absolutely.
Jeff Stein joining us. We'll be back. It's the Matt McNeil Show.
Located just north of 50th in France, the Great Wall Restaurant has provided a delicious taste of authentic Chinese cuisine since 1981. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking dishes, they offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include hot and sour soup, pan-fried dumplings, and mushu pork with homemade Chinese pancakes. Stop by their Edina location or call for takeout at 952-927-4439. See the full menu at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Step into a world where magic and merriment come alive. Discover fantastical creatures, behold thrilling jousts, and meet your favorite characters of old. From rib-tickling gestures to spellbinding performances, the adventure never ends. Make memories that will last through the ages at the most magical village on earth, the Minnesota Renaissance Festival. Plan your visit today at renaissancefest.com. Huzzah!
Hi, I'm Corey Wisco, president of the Welshire. The Welshire is a community that provides memory care to its residents, and we have a location in Bloomington and also another one that we just opened in Medina, Minnesota. But the big question is that why do people come to Welshire? Many of the people coming to Welshire are coming from other memory care communities where they maybe haven't received bathing. They've had problems taking medication or inconsistency with staffing, Wilshire has never used a temporary staff. We always have our own people, and it's those people that make the difference. We have always felt it's so important to have 24-hour nursing in the building. The other thing is you have to have an amazing activity team. Nobody employs more activity people than Wilshire. Our activities begin in the morning, go all the way through the evening, 7 days a week. So if you have a loved one that needs memory care, come visit WilshireMN.com and book a tour today.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about outdoor fires. Sitting around a fire is the oldest, most basic form of human activity.
What's new is in the way fire is burned. We can show you how to burn cleaner with a lot less smoke.
The radiant heat and light from an open fire is unmatched. It kindles our spirits and connects us to the outdoors. And now it's easier to experience and enjoy.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs wood and gas burning fire pits and fireplaces. Let us help you experience an outdoor fire without all the smoke.
Come see the many ways you can enjoy a fire outdoors.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
Broadcasting in the evenings on WCPT 820 Chicago's Progressive Talk, and then nighttime hours in Seattle, 1150 AM KKNW, and of course in Minneapolis, St. Paul on AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota. It's the Matt McNeil Show on your Wednesday. Jeff Stein joining us. Jeff, I actually want to turn to a more serious topic here because there is something here I want to talk about. I mentioned this yesterday. On Tuesday morning on Fox News, this is the quote he said. I just wanted to end, if I can save a few thousand people a week. He's talking about the war in the Ukraine. I just wanted to end, if I can save a few thousand people a week from getting killed, that's pretty good. I want to get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well. I hear I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. If I can get to heaven, this will be one of the reasons. Then I also want to mention that it's come to light that he sounded... that Rubio was trying to, and someone else was trying to basically help him when he was meeting with Putin because he was just off in his own tangent world and they're trying to get him back and he just talked over people. And eventually Putin had to start correcting him with a Putin version of the world history, which wasn't good. You also saw him walking across the red carpet by himself where he's weaving back and forth like a drunk driving at 4 a.m, for goodness sakes. There are a lot of signs that concern me about this guy's health, and the reason why, and I understand there are people out there that's like, I don't care about his health. I don't think he's doing well. I really don't. The fact that Vance, who was such a jackass the last time Zelensky was in the White House, was on best behavior because he knows he might have to grab the reins at any point here. I think that's where I think we're at. And when Trump's at the point where he's talking about his legacy, trying to find something that he can attach his name to that's positive, and he's saying, people are not telling me I'm not doing well. What is your thought? Where is he in your mind as far as his health goes?
No, this is serious. Now, let's start with Vance, just because the stories I see are that he has been working behind the scenes. He worked the European leaders at the same time. Trump's over here dancing about, we're going to do Putin. I'm going to talk to Putin. You got Vance over here doing the shuttle diplomacy kind of thing. So that was something that was really interesting, that he was kind of like the deal maker, just as he was in breaking ties in the Senate. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I heard the clip later from Fox. I interpreted it as, well, I'd like to get into heaven. I hear I'm not doing well, kind of joking, like, because of his bad boy reputation. Either way, let's even dismiss that. Dismiss it as he was just trying to be funny.
Just really quick, if Biden would have said the same thing, even joking wise. No, people would
I know.
Anyway, but go ahead.
Agree. I'm just saying that's how I heard it. All right. But he always has had sort of a lumbering gait, but it's much worse now. We already know about the fluid issues. The voice doesn't quite sound like it did. And I'm just going from family history. congestive heart failure, retention of fluid, that kind of stuff. I have no way to know. I have no reason to doubt the things but if you're giving somebody medication for fluid retention, which they very well may be, so that the guy can even walk.
Well, you have to, really.
So therefore, what kind of an impact does that have at a given time? I mean, he's a number of people have said to me over the past week, separate people, separate situations, saying, I saw Trump he looked tired. And for a guy who's known for just burning it at both ends, all right, he is 78. If there is a health issue, it's going to show. I thought he looked very subdued at the news conference with Putin.
I think. Well,
And
I think
at
that
first,
might have been something else too, but I mean,
well,
still.
I thought it was because he got it handed to him to some degree. Okay. But it all plays in. It all plays in. So is the fact that Vance is taking an elevated role something that's important? Well, maybe it's because of the Epstein files. Maybe it's because of the current president's health. I don't know, but Vance is stepping up in ways. People were making fun about his European vacation, not knowing that was kind of the cover for him to secretly meet with all of these leaders, contemporaneous with taking the family out to, every place Chevy Chase ever went.
I will say this, because think about how Vance was on the world stage in Europe in March, April of this year. He was out there. He was trying to be an insult comic, basically, kind of, trying to shame these people to their face. And also Rubio was a little bit like that too. And both of them now, there is something going on here where, and I think, by the way, your point about the Epstein files, they clearly know it's in there. And if this is a case, and was it Bongino basically is going to be pushed out of the FBI at this point, because I think he's so infuriated about what's going on there. I think that might be a case. They might realize, we've got a pedophile in chief, and this is eventually going to come on out, and we're going to have to make a stand. And
possibly, but look at Bongino. They bring in a co-deputy director. Well, obviously, that's not a good sign for how that relationship is going.
And he's been the only one in that administration who has been fairly frustrated with even Kash Patel has been brought into the fold of, this is the official administration stance. You can't, regardless of what you've got to go with this. I think that it's case, but I also think the water retention. I remember when the first came to light, and the one doctor said, okay, if it was him and just by eyeballing this, he's going to need this medication, this medication, this medication, this medication, a diuretic. Mm-hmm. These things are what he's going to need, which is an insane amount of drugs for a guy, and he is not young. And so I'm starting to wonder, especially if the economy turns, if things get worse and will he just, if his health is really bad, will he just walk away from this because he says, at this point I can just blame everyone else and I can go?
No, he's going to stay there until they carry him out feet first. I just don't see that.
It's making too much money. He for sure is making too much money in that position. So,
well, he's donating his salary, Matt.
No, he's not. It's not. He's man. I didn't realize you can manipulate the crypto market so easily. So
that's why I said he's donating his salary. That's why I said it in that lilt. Oh, and by the way, Bill Barr testified that, if there was something, they'd have used it. Does anybody on either side believe Bill Barr?
Well, I saw the other story. They specifically left Bill Barr out of this because of the fact that he was part of the group that gave him the plea deal in the first place. Yeah, no, this is. I am really watching him now, and I'm more and more concerned. Jeff Stein, once again, I'll post the Iowa Politics Report a little bit later on. Thank you, Jeff. Chicago, Seattle, talk to you tomorrow. Minneapolis, St. Paul, hour 2 up next.
Hey, it's Tom. There's a war being waged on clean energy. A bill in Congress could eliminate the 30% federal tax credit for solar by the end of 2025. And once it's gone, it may never come back. Fossil fuel giants and their MAGA friends in Washington want to kill green energy. But you can fight back. Going solar with All Energy Solar isn't just smart, it's a form of resistance. You choose where your money goes, not to utility companies, not to fossil fuel billionaires, but toward clean, renewable power for your home. A system from All Energy Solar works in Minnesota year-round because it runs on sunlight, not heat. So even in the dead of winter, you're generating electricity. And All Energy Solar helps you save with every rebate and incentive available. This is the moment to act. Waiting means risking with this tax credit and giving the upper hand to MAGA Republicans. So get your free consultation today at allenergysolar.com and take back your power.
Hey, Minnesota, it's Brad Friedman, host of the Bradcast. You're listening to AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. A tense encounter in Washington, D.C. as Vice President J.D. Vance and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth visited with National Guard troops taking part in President Trump's crackdown on crime in the nation's capital. Ed Donahue has the story.
The vice president went to Union Station in D.C.
You guys bust your ass all day, we give you a hamburger. Not a fair trade, but we're grateful for everything you guys do.
Vance says some law and order has been brought back to the nation's capital.
We don't have to live like this. We do not have to allow our cities to be taken over by violence and by disorder and by chaos. You can actually do stuff.
An estimated 1,900 troops are being deployed in D.C. More than half are coming from Republican-led states. Vance was met by protesters at Union Station. Attorney General Pam Bondi says more than 550 people have been arrested so far, and the U.S. Marshals are offering $500 rewards for information leading to additional arrests. Ed Donahue, Washington.
Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard is slashing the intelligence office workforce by 40% and cutting its budget by more than $700 million. Gabbard says the office has become bloated and inefficient and asserts the intelligence community is rife with abuse of power, unauthorized leaks, and politicized weaponization of intelligence. The American Federation of Government Employees says at least 600 employees of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention are receiving permanent termination notices. A recent court decision protected some, but not all, CDC employees from layoffs. President Trump is calling on Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook to resign. A member of his administration is accusing her of mortgage fraud. Cook was appointed to the Fed's governing board by former President Biden in 2022. Her term lasts until 2038. On Wall Street, the index is closed mixed. This is AP News.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something? Boat wins! Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing? Boat wins! Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing? Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
Yeah! With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems like snoring, aches and pains, hot sleep, or even an old saggy mattress that can keep you up at night. And our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now get a king bed for a queen price, plus a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
Find a wide selection of outdoor hearth products at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Whether you prefer wood or gas, Woodland Stoves has the fire to fit your home. Pizza aficionados know nothing matches masonry oven baking for capturing flavor and nutrition. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces can easily install one in your home or business. Enthusiasts use these ovens year-round for bread making, wood roasting, even grilling.
The mission and passion of Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces is to make the fire work for you. The way humans relate to fire is primordial. We have used fire to warm our bodies, cook our meals, and kindle our spirits. Our team has the know-how to do this in a clean burning and environmentally smart way. Visit our store and experience the diversity. We have over 35 working units on display at the corner of Riverside and East Franklin. See us online at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that fits and works for you.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Sunshine today with a high of 82, then tonight clear with a low of 65. Don't miss Zero Res's hot new Labor Day sale. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $119, plus a free hallway and $75 off an air duct cleaning. Head over to ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-0RES and ask for the AM 950 special today. Sale ends Labor Day.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Hour number 2 of the show here on your Wednesday. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. A few little points of house cleaning here. First of all, I think we're going to try to talk to John Parker and the Gailey Show guys tomorrow and at the beginning of the show. They're going to be out at the State Fair. And they're going to broadcast their show out there tomorrow. So I might touch base with them and see how things are going out there. See what they got to get out there early, though, and test some food. So we got to be able to talk about that. So listen for that tomorrow, the beginning of the 3 o'clock hour tomorrow. Also today and tomorrow and Friday, I got tickets to give away to Grease over at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. Of course, one of the classic American musicals of all time, Grease. And so your chance to win tickets coming up here a little bit later on as that's playing over there at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater through the fall. And still, Patrick, my plea, my hope to the fine folks of Taco John's, sponsor my radio show, and we will call ourselves 6 Pack and a Pound for a week. So far, we have not. Have the phones rung? Have we heard anything from Taco John's?
We unfortunately have not.
Still love you. In case you missed the story early this week, Taco John's has moved their corporate headquarters from Cheyenne, Wyoming, where I thought this is the reason why. And nothing in Cheyenne. I hear it's actually a lovely town, but their airport has only one direct flight to Denver, and that's it. And if you're a corporate headquarters, you need to kind of have an airport that goes, I don't know, more than one place. And so I'm glad you come here, and I like 6 packs and a pound. Why not? You're more than welcome to. I'll be 6 pack. Whoever's producing the pound, we'll do it for a full week. In a full week. So that's how I roll, man. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. A little bit of an emergency here. And as somebody who myself have had to go to the hospital in an emergency situation, and have had loved ones have had to go to emergency situations to hospitals over the years, there is a blood shortage out there. I mean, we don't think about this because of generally the, you don't think about something like this until generally it's an emergency. I know a lot of people that give blood regularly. Bless you. It's a wonderful thing to do. The Minnesota Blood Centers has declared a blood emergency due to a shortage throughout the state. Memorial Blood Centers say the state's blood supply has dropped below a 2-day inventory. A 7-day supply is needed to meet the demands of hospitals and patients. Memorial Blood Centers is asking for donations of all blood types, but the shortage is especially severe for types O negative and O positive. Those blood types are vital for emergency situations and trauma care. We urgently need the community's help to rebuild the blood supply and prevent this situation from becoming more dire, said Kathy Geis, the vice president of the Memorial Blood Centers. Donating blood is one of the more direct and impactful ways to support our healthcare system and save lives. There is an anticipated decline in the donations over the summer due to vacations, summer breaks, and weather that keeps the donors inside. However, an increase of trauma cases had depleted the local blood supply. Minnesota is not only alone in having this not enough, a nationwide problem is out there. Solving it requires donors locally. You haven't heard. Funny, there's a nationwide problem with this, and Health and Human Services, they're talking about, rubbing gravel in your face because that's healthy, I guess. Every time you hear a siren or see a helicopter overhead, there's a chance that a patient will need blood. We need to make sure it's on the shelves before they ever get to the hospital. Memorial Blood Center is calling on community members to donate blood. Donors can schedule an appointment. Memorial Blood Centers, please do make a donation if you can. Once again, when I had, there's a family emergency we had, I basically was giving blood, pretty consistently. for a while. I haven't in a while, but I'm going to make an appointment and I'm going to go do so because I'm O positive. So here you go. I've got the blood they need. So if you can help out, I mean, generally, I think that this is one of those things where, regardless of who you are, political ideology, anything like this, we need to make sure we have the blood supply where we need to have it. So please make a donation if you can. Call up, may I encourage the churches, civic groups, everyone to try to get on a calendar, kind of get this taken care of and see if we can get this fulfilled. Because once again, it's not something you think about beforehand, but when something bad happens, you want it to be there. So please, if you can. Also, one other quick story I want to get to here before I get into some of the more larger topics for the day. And that is there's always these negative stories that come on out. I mean, just really angry whenever they have to cut a limit on fish, particularly walleye, on a lake because the population has dipped low. And Mille Lacs has been is one of those lakes where it's been an upward downward battle out there. I will say this: I have been out on boats on Mille Lacs fishing, and you're generally surrounded by a lot of other boats out there. It's a good fishing lake. And, the question here is people insist, oh, well, it's not our fault. You see the people's stringers that are full of fish. You see way over limit catches. That's what does the problem. I mean, is there environmental issues? Sure, especially as we get warmer. I mean, these dishpan lakes become warmer and warmer. But it's not, I mean, it's always comical when the non-indigenous fishermen blame the indigenous community for having the rights to net fish, which they do. It's in the treaty. They have the right to do it. Bless them. Off you go. On a small portion of the lake, and they say, they're taking all the fish out of the lake. Hiccup, as they grab another beer and put their 15th freaking fish on their stringer. No, it has nothing to do with Native American rights. They themselves are burdened by these declining fishing numbers. And trust me, there are far more people overfishing these lakes who are not indigenous than even people who are net fishing are. So, it's not. Stop using that as your scapegoat. It's not the Native American population. It's generally the white fisherman who just doesn't want to stay. Well, we better throw that one back. No, they don't want to do that. Anyway, as this, because you can tell I'm a little passionate about this because I'm a fisherman. I like fishing. And what I don't like is I don't like jerks who basically know what the problem is themselves, but they don't want to take the blame for it, and so they go racist. And I have zero tolerance for that. Anyway, when things turn around, we should give praise. Right. The Minnesota DNR is increasing the number of walleye anglers can harvest from Mille Lacs from 2 to 3 starting this last weekend. I think it was this last weekend. Might be this upcoming weekend. The new limit goes into effect on Saturday, will continue for more than 3 months through Sunday, November 30th. This is good news. The decision comes due to a slow bite so far this year and the hugely popular fishing destination, which means the limit can be raised while ensuring the protection of the wider walleye population on the lake. The size limit remains in place, with anglers permitted to harvest a fish 17 inches or longer, but only the one that is longer than only one that is longer than 20 inches. So the fish, you can have one that's larger than 20. So if you get your trophy sizer, you got that one. The rest of them have to be between 17 and 20 inches. All right. The primary management objective is to maintain a healthy walleye population and remain within the state's share of sustainable harvest, said Brad Parsons from the DNR Fisheries Section Manager. The slow bite this year allows the DNR to meet the primary goal and offer anglers a chance to take home and a little extra fish during the remainder of the season. You have to put this out because everyone bellows and moans and blah, 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 blah whenever they basically have to limit the fish. Now they're opening it up. So good management. Well done. There you go. Enjoy. 952-946-6205. we have another name in the governor's race on the Republican side. I bet she's a suburban mom. Lipstick. We're about to get that, I think, a lot. Lipstick. State Representative Kristen Robbins announced Wednesday she will run for the governor next year, bringing the fresh face to the race as Republicans seek to win the office for the first time since 2006. Robbins, a Maple Grove Republican and rising voice in the legislature, said Minnesota has declined under Governor Tim Walz's leadership. She criticized Walz and Democrats for spending a historic budget surplus while also raising taxes. Dude, you people were trying to give everything back to about 20 billionaires and millionaires. So I'd much rather go with the DFL. Anyway, this gets fun. I'm in this because I live in Minnesota and I want to make sure the state government works for Minnesotans, not against some, well, for some Minnesotans. I mean, the poorer people, not them. They're not going to get your tax breaks, are they? But the wealthy people, you love them. Sure. Robbins joins a GOP gubernatorial field that includes Scott Jensen and Kendall Qualls, both who ran for governor in 2022, former U.S. Naval Intelligence Officer Philip Parrish, and retired mixed martial arts boxer Brad Kohler are also running. Robbins said she has a proven track record on winning, noting she outperformed Donald Trump's margin of victory in her West Suburban district. The presidential race was even in her district, and she won by 14 points. She said she would welcome the endorsement from Trump. That's right. She's already, I'm the Trumpiest Trump. That's what she's doing right now. Which, by the way, I'm sure that won't come back and burn her if she becomes the nominee. Now, first of all, I want to point out something. Do you honestly think that Maple Grove, your district, is a toss-up now for Trump? Wait until the economy collapses in October. I guarantee you won't be mentioning the T word anymore. At least, heck, you won't win your district, let alone the governor's race. I will also say, she's going to have to be the Trumpiest Trump ever for her to win the nomination from the GOP. And DFL, this isn't real rocket science. Bury them with them, because I guarantee you in 2 years, anyone that's putting forward the I love Trump mantra, it's not going to fly nearly as much as they think it will. But I want to point out one little problem you're going to have there, Robbins. Have you seen your party before? Has it been going out there? They proudly voted for Trump because they didn't want a chick in the White House. That's right. Your party has a massive misogyny problem. And your party, I mean, you're anti-abortion rights. Well, I'm sure now, well, not now. You have to win the Republican nomination. So you're going to be all about babies. And then the second, if you do win the nomination, you're going to be like, I've always had the rights for women in mind. You know, it's going to be one of those things. But your party, I mean, heck, there are a lot of Republican women who are misogynist, which is really crazy if you want to know the truth. I think it's a hoot. You are going to have to go and sell yourself, a suburban woman. Hey, you need to be working from home. Give me a beer. That's what you're going to, good luck with that. Good luck with that. That is your party. You've created them. And it took Bannon coming on out and basically getting Royce White into the Senate race last election. You've got a pretty big racism, misogyny problem within the Republican Party. And so your only option is to be the Trumpiest Trump of all time to basically try to have a chance at winning the nomination. I mean, you guys, you need to be putting audio on her at all times. Every rally, when she's out there talking about Donald Trump is the greatest president ever, because I guarantee you she'll be frantically running from that if she does become the nominee the day after the primary. The day after the primary, I'm a suburban mom. I've always had questions about Donald Trump. Hey, women's rights, I might be against abortion, but every woman has a right. And before that's going to be, Republicans need to take over everything, and Trump, and no woman has a right to choose anything over their own body. So good luck with all that. Good luck with all that. I'm not going to hold my breath because there was a time where a suburban Republican might get some traction. But you got to get through your own little gauntlet of fire over there. You got to do the Andy Dufresne sewer crawl. That's a Republican primary thing. I don't think you're going to get out of that. And yeah, I don't think you are. And like I said, if Trump all of a sudden crashes the economy and you're already on the welcome, I already welcome the endorsement from Trump. That's going to be the best part is if the economy crashes, that's not the best part. That's horrible. Everyone's going to hurt. But the Republican Party is still going to even then have a majority that are pro-Trump rubes. And you're going to have to get into bed with that. And that is statewide toxin. You are going to turn off half your own base, and I guarantee you the Democrats aren't going to be on your side. But hey, good luck with all that. Good luck with all that. My guess is going to be, if it looks like she's not going to get close to it, that she'll very quickly say, hey, I've decided I'm going to pull out of the race and still try to run in Maple Grove. But I'm going to be honest with you. If things go the way I think they are in this country, I don't think you're going to be safe in Maple Grove either. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. People don't like when you screw them over, and you've screwed over basically the entire middle and lower class. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of them, MAGA side, are dumb enough to keep voting for another knee to the old crotch, but not all of them. So good luck. Good luck with all that. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. I'll take a break. Coming back, I got to address some things from yesterday's show, and particularly about that Minneapolis DFL thing, but some other stories as well. I'll do that when I return. It's the Matt McNeil Show.
Summer is going fast, but Next Chapter Booksellers has everything you need to keep up with your summer reading. From the hottest new titles to timeless classics, Next Chapter Booksellers has something for any taste. Their friendly staff are great at making recommendations for the perfect summer read for you or your loved ones. Plus, Next Chapter Booksellers has a wide variety of puzzles and games for those rainy days. So keep up with your summer reading at Next Chapter Booksellers off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul. More at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our listeners. How important are business values to you? When you need high-quality digital print, it matters who you work with. You see, Minuteman Uptown is unique. We're one of the only union print shops in Minnesota providing our team with living wages and benefits. We believe in second chances for justice-impacted individuals who want to contribute to the community, and we are active in local issues. We've been in the streets standing up for racial, social, and economic justice. At Minuteman Uptown, our mission is to connect all communities through technology-driven print solutions. An example of that mission is when I moved Minuteman Uptown to North Minneapolis. We're invested in this local community, and we help small businesses and local organizations throughout the Twin Cities reach their audiences. Reach out to Minuteman Uptown and partner with a printer that shares your values. Call us today at 612-870-0777 or visit us at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Did you know that August is Pet Appreciation Month? Zero Res doesn't use harsh soaps or chemicals, so it's safe for all your furry friends. If you have a pet like I do, you know they like to leave little bits of themselves around the house, whether that's fur or dander or worse, and you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to help get your house back in shape. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. So if it's been months since your last deep clean, it's time to give the pros at Zero Res a call. And if you need to freshen up your home for the fall, Zero Res is dropping a Labor Day sale just in time for the start of the school year. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119, plus a free hallway and $75 off an air gut cleaning. Sale ends Labor Day. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Hey, Francois, why are you sitting on the sidewalk on Snelling Avenue?
Salut Laura, j'attends.
What are you waiting for?
Le State Fair.
But the state fair doesn't start until August 21st.
Ouais, mais j'ai hâte de manger les macarons de Nicolette.
Oh, you can't wait for Nicholas macaroons. What flavors do they have this year?
Cotton candy, root beer float, sweet corn, and mini donuts.
Oh, and Nicholas Vintage Truck will be at the West End Market, right?
Oui.
Oh, well, I'll be right back when it opens. Hold the spot in line.
Vivement le State Fair.
Minnesota State Fair.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. 952-946-6205. Okay, so yesterday we talked about the most, Minneapolis DFL is one of the more incompetent groups I've seen in a long time. The Minneapolis one, So once again, in case you missed it, they had their endorsing convention, and Omar Fateh was the winner of that he won the endorsement for mayor. And Jacob Fry is protesting that. Now, this matter, what happened is there's now a formal challenge to the endorsement because there were some problems with the July 21st convention's electronic voting system, and it resulted in 176 votes being excluded from the official tally on the first endorsement ballot. Party officials have admitted that was a problem. Okay. They've admitted the 176 ballots didn't count. And here's where it gets really horrible. It'd be one thing if that didn't change what the second ballot would have looked like, but it does mean it would change. It did affect the outcome. Candidate Dwayne Davis would not have dropped from consideration on the second ballot, have conceded. The convention organizers have conceded that the second ballot would have been very different than the first ballot, or than the second ballot they actually put out there. That's the case, because they didn't count 176 votes. So basically, and once again, you get into that second round, all of a sudden you start looking for allegiances to start blocking votes and stuff like that. Now, I said this not because, and you can play the copious amounts of tape that I have got. I am not a fan of Jacob Fry. I am not. I am not his stooge. I am not. I don't vote. First of all, I don't vote in Minneapolis. I'm in Hopkins. But I'm not going to say how I would vote this time, but I'm not the biggest fan of Jacob Fry. I am not. And it doesn't mean I don't think he's going to win. I mean, he does have large swaths of the city where the guy is popular. And I remember the last election cycle, all the left, all the progressives were out there screaming about, don't rank Fry. And he trounced you. He just absolutely trounced you. So I'm not necessarily sure exactly how you think this is going to go. I'm not saying Omar Fateh is going to necessarily lose. He's got the incumbency, and that comes with some popularity. Now, that all being said, that's all irrelevant. These endorsement conventions are based on when somebody gets eliminated, who do their supporters go for? You eliminated a candidate that you shouldn't have. That would have changed the dynamic of the second ballot dramatically. Not a little bit, but dramatically. You've got to throw that out. And as a matter of fact, you want my honest opinion? If Omar Fateh wants to really basically take the lead in this race, he himself should come on out and said, hey, I appreciate the endorsement, but guess what? There indeed was a major problem with this entire process where 176 votes weren't counted. It would have changed the second ballot. There's no way on the planet we can predict what would have happened after that point. So I think we just remove the endorsement altogether and we'll just go to the primary. And scene. As a matter of fact, if Omar Fateh actually did that, I think that would actually solidify a lot of support for him. But this whole idea that this was, do you know how many Omar Fateh people basically said, well, but Fry and everyone else said it was legit at the time. They endorsed it. They said it was real. Yeah, before they were told 176 votes were not counted and the second ballot would have changed. I get it. You don't want, this reminds me so much of that freaking situation where you had the first time Walz ran for governor, and it was, Aaron Murphy's people were going in and they were saying, oh, we're not going to win the endorsement, but so we're going to take it to the primary. That's all right. We're taking it to the primary no matter what happens here. And Tim Walz was like, oh, well, if we win the primary, or the endorsement, this should be over. Well, surprise, surprise, things flipped around. Aaron Murphy got the endorsement. And immediately the same people that said, hey, the process means you go to the primary, were like, no, you need to withdraw right away. And of course, Walz changed tone, everything. And yeah, you went down from there. And you just go there. I mean, it's stop. The entire, the Minnesota DFL, that's fairly well run. Minneapolis DFL, you're so poorly run. I don't know how anyone can honestly think that this is a good idea to keep these results. You screwed up again. Again, you've screwed up. And now basically people are entrenched in their own opinions. And even guys like me, first of all, if you've never listened to my show, do yourself a favor. If you never listened to a word I said, don't come and tell me exactly who I am, you freaking idiots. I get it. You're so seduced into your point of view that you can't possibly say, well, yeah, but the ballots got screwed up. Maybe that's not good. But don't sit there and act as if I'm doing this because I'm putting my fingers on the scale for one candidate or the other. I'm just calling the entire Minneapolis DFL incompetent, as they justifiably are in this situation. And because no one in that freaking organization has the guts to say, we really screwed this up, we have to pull the endorsement. Fine. I'll still be the one voice. But you guys really screwed up and you need to pull the endorsement. And like I said, if Omar Fateh wants to go out there and really take the lead, I think if he came out there and said, you know what? Yeah, okay, fine. Second ballot wasn't legit, so let's throw it out, but I will go take it to the primary. That doesn't look like you're trying to build a little fort around the endorsement at that point. I just don't know how to fix some of this problems. A little bit later on, I'll talk a little bit more about the other problem that came out of Minneapolis. But when I do come back, we haven't had a crime blotter in a while. I got some updates on some crime blotters, which is good news for the people of Minneapolis when we do return. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Take a break. Come on back. The Matt McNeil Show here on your Wednesday.
Hello, Seattle. End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
This year, the adventure is calling louder than ever before. Craft your own magic at the Wicked Wand Workshop. Race for glory at the Ninja Warrior Challenge. Or battle for honor at the Viking Invasion. Plus, enjoy classic favorites like live armored combat jousting or slay your hunger with tasty turkey legs. The Minnesota Renaissance Festival is back with new adventures. Get your tickets now at renaissancefest.com. Huzzah!
Hey, it's Tom. There's a war being waged on clean energy. A bill in Congress could eliminate the 30% federal tax credit for solar by the end of 2025. And once it's gone, it may never come back. Fossil fuel giants and their MAGA friends in Washington want to kill green energy. But you can fight back. Going solar with all energy solar isn't just smart, it's a form of resistance. You choose where your money goes, not to utility companies, not to fossil fuel billionaires, but toward clean, renewable power for your home. A system from All Energy Solar works in Minnesota year-round because it runs on sunlight, not heat. So even in the dead of winter, you're generating electricity. And All Energy Solar helps you save with every rebate and incentive available. This is the moment to act. Waiting means risking with this tax credit and giving the upper hand to MAGA Republicans. So get your free consultation today at allenergysolar.com and take back your power.
The Brave New Workshop is a Minneapolis tradition and the nation's longest-running comedy theater, finding ways to make people laugh about things that should make them cry for over 65 years. And who doesn't need a good laugh right now? Seriously, who doesn't need a laugh? Come see their fall show, Hippocalypse Now, a hilarious look at a world where what people say and what people do are completely unrelated. Playing now through November 1st at the Dudley Riggs Theater in Minneapolis. Tickets available at hennepinarts.org. That's hennepinarts.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, clear with a low of 65, then Thursday, sunshine with a high of 82. Spend your summer with some of the hottest musical acts around at Crooner Supper Club in Fridley. Crooners is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65 and Moore Lake Drive. Visit croonersmn.com to view their schedules and food menus. The NFL 950 St. Louis Park, Minneapolis.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. Hey, I got tickets to give away right now to Grease over at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. Of course, if you haven't seen it, fantastic production they've got going on over there. Runs through the fall at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Caller number 5, you will win yourself a pair of tickets to go see Grease at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. Good luck. Enjoy. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. So I'm going to take some time to go through some two stories here involving police blotter in Minneapolis, involving some of the police stories that have kind of, people on the right like to say, it's crazy, it's out of control, blah, 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 blah. What they don't want to talk about is when people have been arrested. And people might actually face penalties for their crimes. They don't want to talk about that because you see, is then all of a sudden they're fear-mongering. Well, I guess we don't have to fear-monger anymore. Nope, they'll run off to the next thing and talk about there was a minority with a firework, that sort of thing. Minneapolis police have arrested 3 teenagers on Tuesday who authorities suspect could be connected to the most recent car break-in spree that left them more than 100 vehicles with smashed windows. Good for them. The arrests were made a little after 9 a.m. in North Minneapolis. Police Chief O'Hara told reporters Tuesday evening. Officials also seized 2 stolen vehicles believed to be tied to the most recent break-ins. Tonight, I'm thankful to share that we are making progress, said O'Hara in the news briefing. The announcement came the same day as another break-in spree left dozens of cars smashed in the city's North Loop and Whittier neighborhoods, as well as other parts of the city. More than 500 cars have been broken into the city over the last month and a half in a variety of neighborhoods. In many cases, the damage has been taking place on the streets next to the apartment buildings, townhomes, or condos. Some residents have had their cars broken into several times over a matter of weeks. I had a friend that had their car busted into multiple times in one area. Yeah, not good. O'Hara said the suspects, 3 teenagers between the ages of 15 and 17, had been booked on suspicions of auto theft while investigating work to determine their connection to the crime sprees. The officer was monitoring surveillance cameras Tuesday morning when a license plate reader spotted a stolen white Kia Sorento. O'Hara said it turned out to be the same car Brooklyn Park Police had been pursuing hours earlier in connection with the break-ins. The officer then saw the vehicle, attempted to make a traffic stop. The suspects fled on foot before the 3 were taken into custody. Good running. Yes, good. How's that doing? A second vehicle, also believed to be connected to the early Tuesday morning break-ins, was also seized on the city's 2nd precinct, O'Hara said. Lindsay Lemire, a 23-year-old graduate student who lives in the North Loop, was one of more than a dozen people whose car windows were smashed in the alley between 7th and 6th Avenues North, where apartment residents park on North 3rd Street. She said, nothing was taken. It's just frustrating that it derails my entire schedule. I almost prefer they stole something. Look, that's such a city mentality, too. Cars have also been broken into other cities recently, including Brooklyn Park, St. Louis Park, and Edina. In interviews Tuesday with the break-ins victims in the North Loop, all said nothing was taken from their vehicles. Some vehicles had small cracks on windows where suspects unsuccessfully tried to break in. You can only implement so much security, said Sean Han, a 24-year-old supply chain analyst. Maybe more cameras would capture them on video, but I don't know how much that would help. Last week, police responded to at least 125 reports of broken vehicle windows occurring in groupings, meaning multiple vehicles in the same block were damaged during the same date and time, said the police spokesperson. The areas affected were in the 2nd Precinct in northeast Minneapolis and the 5th Precinct in southwest Minneapolis. Police say it's important to call 911 as soon as possible. Report the following information. If you have any clothing descriptions, any vehicles they may arrive or leave in, including license plates and locations, direction of travel. You basically, this is not good. You're being jerks. Let's be honest. If you do connect these kids to a substantial amount of damage that has been done, you can't do the DoorDash and Netflix thing, man. You can't. You have chronic problem. If it was one vehicle, maybe, you make them pay for the vehicle, do some community service work, fine. But if these guys are, first of all, they're in stolen vehicles, so that's theft, grand theft, larceny, I believe it is. You then have 100 vehicles damaged. If you have any evidence at all that puts these guys at those locations, well, I think you charge them. And if you have 100 vehicles that were damaged, I don't think that that's a, pay them back and do some community service sort of thing anymore. Now, I don't know how the sentencing guidelines go for something like this, but I'm not looking for these guys to get locked up for life, but I don't think that they should. For the safety and security of Minneapolis vehicles, I don't think they should be locked. I don't think they should be out in the streets for a while. And maybe, the 17-year-old spends a year in juvie and then goes off to regular prison for a year or two. The other kids are 15 years old. They spend until 18 years old in their juvie, and that's it. But I think at least you're getting them off the street. You can't have stuff like this. You can't. This isn't kids being kids. This is kids being jerks. And give them credit. Give Minneapolis Police and O'Hara credit. They caught them. And if these guys are found guilty, I do think you should actually have something more than just a stern finger wagging. The more interesting case though that developed has to do with those burglars. And this was at the state fairgrounds. Remember that around the state fairgrounds, they put out the crime alert there. And people were wondering what was going on. 3 men have been charged now with a burst of armed gas station robberies that prompted a police pursuit near the state fairgrounds, along with an emergency alert to thousands of cell phones over the weekend. Well, 2 of the suspects have been arrested and charged. One alleged accomplice remains on the run. I have an update on that. I'll get back to that in a second. Apparently, this, according to the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office, Kimone Terry Hurd, 18 of St. Paul, was charged Wednesday in district court with 3 counts of first-degree robbery and 1 count of auto theft. Kenneth Toy Spite, 21, also of St. Paul, was charged with 1 count of first-degree robbery in St. Paul. Hurd remains jailed in lieu of a $200,000 bail ahead of court appearance on September 17th. The attorneys have not responded to the allegations. An arrest warrant has been issued for Dylan Charles Youngworth, Jungwirth, 21, of White Bear Lake, who's charged with 4 counts of first-degree robbery. In one of the Sunday morning robberies, according to the sheriff's office, Youngworth pressed a gun to the back of a clerk's head. 3 suspects terrorized the clerks and struck fear into our communities, said the statement from Sheriff Bob Fletcher. Law enforcement worked fast to catch the 2. Now we need the public's help to find the 3rd. Like I said, I'll have an update there in just a second. The alert lit up phone screens around Ramsey County as the robberies led to police chase near the state fairgrounds. The robberies occurred at the Speedway on Rice Street in Roseville, the BP station at 300 Little Canada Road in Little Canada, and on Cleveland Avenue in Roseville, the 3100 block. According to the charges, an employee at the Speedway, this is the first one, this is in Roseville, He reported to police just after 6 a.m. Sunday that masked man, later identified as Jungwirth, pushed him against the wall and demanded money at gunpoint. Jungwirth led with $93.75. Poor guy had a gun put to his head just for $93. Yikes. Deputies went to the BP in Little Canada shortly after 8:30 a.m. and learned that 2 men robbed the business. Jungwirth hopped the counter, put a gun to the back of the clerk's head, fled with cash and cigarettes. A woman who lives nearby told deputies she was suspicious of a blue car parked in front of her house around the time of the BP holdup in Little Canada and took photos of the vehicle. She said she saw 2 men dressed in all black run up to the car and speed away. Surveillance video from the... Good for you, by the way. Good for you. I've got neighbors like this, and it's, you want to know the truth, is you live in a neighborhood and it's always nicer. It's like, I noticed there's a car out there. Is that yours? Yes, that's mine. Okay, good. I just checked. I don't mind that. I do not mind that. The surveillance video from that robbery captured what appeared to be that car and the 2 men, Jungwirth and Hurd. Shortly after 9 a.m., officers heard of a gas station owner that the BP in Roseville now had been robbed. The officers arrived to find an employee with a bloodied head and injured eye. Yikes. The officers went inside and saw merchandise thrown about in the entry and shelves tipped over. The employee said Jungwirth pulled out a handgun and demanded money. As the man that was handing over the money, the gunman wanted the employee's wallet. The man refused and fought with Jungwirth for the weapon. Hurd intervened. Both suspects hit the employee in the head. Struggle spilled into the parking lot before the robbers got in their blue car and drove off. The owner soon arrived and determined $386 had been stolen. These guys, what did they get? A few $100? Some cigs? Freaking idiots. Seriously, dumbasses. Soon afterward, officers spotted a car speeding at County Road C and Snelling Avenue in Roseville. Police pursued the vehicle at 107 miles an hour. Yikes! Before losing sight of it near the Pierce Butler route in St. Paul, officers checked the area nearby, saw the car stop near a power pole. A person walking nearby said she saw 3 men exit the vehicle and run into the woods. You're going to go harvesting berries? What are you doing? Law enforcement learned the car had been stolen Saturday in Robbinsdale. While the engine was running, surveillance video showed Jungwirth stealing the car. An officer at the perimeter of the search area saw men resembling Jungwirth and Hurd sitting on a retaining wall in the 800 block of Tatum Street before getting a rideshare vehicle and leaving. Officers searched the rail yard in the 1700 block of Pierce Butler route, saw Sprite and flushed him out from a hiding spot. Sprite left it, well, not so much. Sprite fled on foot, but was soon captured. He had $169 with him in a black face mask. His phone had 12 unread text messages from Hurd. Don't tell them we just robbed them. After initial denials of involvement, Sprite told investigators he drove Jungwirth to the Speedway, left after the robbery, picked up Hurd at a park. Investigators found Hurd on Monday and arrested him. He claimed he was home at the time of the robberies. Sure you were. Sure you were. They seem to know exactly who is there. So, by the way, I told you there was going to be an update. This is according to Bring Me the News. According to the Ramsey County officials, law enforcement have contact with people in the house of the 7200 block of Main Street in Centerville, up in the north central part of the metro. This was just after 11 a.m. today. The group gave their permission to search the property, and investigators found Jungwirth hiding under a stairwell. He was scared. The big bully guy with the gun was so scared. He was hiding. Oh, I'm so scared. I'm hiding. He surrendered and was taken into custody without incident. Shepherd deputies are now submitting an affidavit for search warrant to be conducted along with them to find additional evidence tying them to the crimes, including the gun that was used to carry out the robberies. Dylan Jungwirth, 21 of White Bear Lake, faces multiple counts of first-degree robbery and retaliation for the crime spree that sparked the alert in Ramsey County. Has been on the run since evading law enforcement on Sunday. And, yeah, they caught him. I mean, assaulting, they're going to get assault. I mean, Jungwirth alone. I mean, it was kind of a little disheartening because, before this update came in from Bring Me the News, he clearly was the worst of the worst. He stole the initial car out of Robbinsdale. And he was the guy that was putting the guns up against people's heads, for goodness sakes, to get a few $100 and some smokes. I'm glad they caught the guy. I'm a little bit wondering about the house they found him up in Centerville. I mean, are they saying they didn't? I mean, they went there. The law enforcement made contact with people at a house. The group gave their permission to search the property. Did they know he was there? Did they know he was hiding underneath the stairs? I mean, that could be aiding and abetting. I'm not sure. That could be. I'll say this. Once again, another job well done. Hennepin County Sheriff and all the police departments involved there. You got bad guys, and they're going to, if they're found guilty, they're going to go to jail. And in this case, I'm presuming, the other case of the damaging of the vehicles, once again, should not be a home arrest with DoorDash and Netflix. But these guys, I'm presuming it's going to be a much harsher penalty. I'm hoping it's going to be a much harsher penalty. We'll have to see. It is Ramsey County as opposed to Hennepin County, so that gives me a little bit of faith that there will be a little bit more there. But once again, yes, people go on out there and they're like, crime is out of control. Well, law enforcement does their job, man. And people like that lovely lady that took a picture of the car, caught them, red-handed on that one. Nicely done. Our community gets better when we work together to make it better. And we basically find the people that are not making it better. And as opposed to just use that to fearmonger and get people to hate the community, we actually have people that are wanting to make the community better, and they work together and they get the arrest. So well done, Minneapolis Police. Well done, Hennepin County Sheriff. Well done, all the other police departments. And well done, woman who took a picture there. All my best to the people that got robbed. That's nasty. I know that's going to leave some scars mentally. So all my best to you guys as well. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. We'll take a break, come back. Matt McNeil Show on the Wednesday.
Hey, Francois, why are you sitting on the sidewalk on Snelling Avenue?
Salut Laura, j'attends.
What are you waiting for?
Le State Fair.
But the State Fair doesn't start until August 21st.
Ouais, mais j'ai hâte de manger les macarons de Nicolette.
Oh, you can't wait for Nicolette's macaroons. What flavors do they have this year?
Cotton candy, root beer float, sweet corn, and mini donuts.
Oh, and Nicolette's vintage truck will be at the West End Market, right?
Oui.
Oh, well, I'll be right back when it opens. Hold the spot in line.
Vivement le State Fair.
Minnesota State Fair.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Shambot from Shambot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. We know dental anxiety and dental phobia are real. We'll take the time to get to know you and give you what you need to be comfortable at all times. We offer free nitrous oxide laughing gas and have high-tech options to help you feel calm and relaxed during your appointments. We'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call because we don't like to see anyone in pain. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been going to Shambot Family Dentistry for years. They get me in last minute when I'm in pain and make regular checkups easy and comfortable.
Shamblat Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblatfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. One final story to get to today, and this has to do with the Minneapolis City Council member, Aisha Chugtai. Yeah. Hey, I don't have any problem with you being passionate. I have no problem with your positions and your posts. And once again, I also am smart enough to understand that the concerns and the issues which are relevant to you are important to your district. And for goodness sakes, champion them as hard as you can. 100%. In the same sense as that I understand that the issues that are for, say, a farmer out in Marshall. There's going to be different issues. By all means, I mean that you should champion for what you care for. I'm going to give you, council member, I'm going to give you some advice about how you do this, though. Okay, and you can take it, you can ignore it. I've already had a few of her supporters after I posted about this morning. So, what did you say wrong? Well, she didn't hold back over the weekend as she unleashed an expletive-laden attack on Mayor Fry in an appearance and spot during the SPI Fest, an Uptown Music Festival. Chugtai, who is the council vice president and represents Ward 10 in the central part of the city, made a brief onstage appearance at a green room the green room during the neighborhood festival, where she made the pointed comments and threw her support behind mayoral candidate Omar Fateh. We're going to transform this city. Chugtai said, blank F Jacob Fry, F fascism, F Donald Trump. Now, I'm going to make sure I say this. You think Jacob Fry is like Trump and the MAGA people? I understand that anyone to the right of you might want to loop into one big pile, but, I mean, I don't agree with Dean Phillips. Dean Phillips ain't Donald Trump. Doesn't mean I'd vote for Dean Phillips, but I'm at least not going to say he's Donald Trump. That being said, fine. The profane outburst was widely denounced Tuesday by other city council members, the mayor and by the woman hoping to unseat Chugtai in the elections this fall, Lydia Millard. I believe you can be tough without being toxic, Millard said in a statement. Chugtai, who was first elected to the council in 2021, has emerged as a strong progressive voice and someone who hasn't shied away from criticizing the more moderate Fry. Speaking to the Music Fest crowd, Chugtai says she ran for the council for the first time because she is tired of the city treating people who experience childhood homelessness and people that come from undocumented families as garbage. Completely agree with you. 100%. Couldn't agree more. That is not okay. Agree with that whole as well. Chugtai said, we believe that the city is a city where everybody belongs and everybody matters. Chugtai, the first Muslim woman and at 27 believed to be the youngest person elected to the Minneapolis City Council, had said she is excited to run for her seat again and called Fateh her friend and brother. All right. Okay. Because, I mean, I think that you could have gone with the F fascism, F Trump. I don't think anyone would have raised an eyebrow, frankly. It's the F Fry. And there's a decent chance that, and I know you don't want to believe this, but there's a decent chance you're going to have to work with the mayor again. If you do win your election, which I don't know how that's going down there, but. And I also know, Councilwoman, that you are definitely probably supported and cheered on by a lot of people. Absolutely. But you could, at this point, come on out with a dissertation of the ages to talk about solving the ills of Minneapolis, and a large portion of the population is just going to call you Susie Effenheimer. That's it. That's it. You know, your message is now you're always going to be, oh, she's the swearing one. She's the one that swears all the time. And that's not going to help you. Hey, passion is fine and all, but I'm just going to say you're tripping up your own message. I'm just saying it. Native Roots Radio is up next. We're back tomorrow. Until then, see ya.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our listeners.